Have you ever watched a movie only to reach the ending and question everything you just saw? If so, then you felt the grip of one of cinema's most deceptive tools, the unreliable narrator. In Brad Anderson's 2019 psychological thriller Fractured, this device doesn't just twist the story, it drives it. Today we're diving deep into Fractured, exploring how it weaponizes the unreliable narrator to disorient us, unsettle us, and ultimately trap us in the mind of a man we can't quite trust. An unreliable narrator is a character, often the protagonist, whose perspective we follow, but whose version of events is misleading, distorted, or downright false. Whether due to mental illness, trauma, amnesia, or even manipulation.
You freak.
Beg my wife's forgiveness before I blow your brains out.
This narrative technique invites the audience into a skewed reality. It's been used in classics like Fight Club, Shutter Island, and Memento, where perception becomes the battleground, and the truth is deliberately withheld. Fractured doesn't just follow this tradition, it builds its entire identity around it. The story centers on Ray Monroe, played by Sam Worthington, a man traveling home with his wife Joanne and daughter Perry after a tense Thanksgiving. After a roadside accident leaves Perry injured, they rush to a nearby hospital. Perry is taken for a CT scan with her mother, and then they vanish. Ray is left confused and increasingly frantic as hospital staff claim they were never admitted. It's a classic mystery setup. A missing family, a suspicious institution, and a protagonist determined to uncover the truth. But it's not long before we begin to question something far more disturbing: Ray's grip on reality itself. Ray Monroe is our anchor in the story, but from the very beginning, the anchor is unstable. He's haunted by a past trauma, the death of his first wife, which seems to have left him emotionally hollow. His behavior is erratic, his memory hazy, and his perception of time and sequence is inconsistent. Most importantly, the film is told almost entirely from Ray's point of view. That means every interaction, every contradiction, every clue we get comes filtered through his fractured psyche. And that is where the deception begins. Director Brad Anderson uses visual language to trap us inside Ray's mind. We only see what he sees. So when Ray remembers his daughter falling into the construction pit and his wife running to save her, we believe him, because we have no reason not to. But as the film progresses, cracks begins to show. Conversation don't line up, characters remembers events differently. Security footage contradicts Ray's story. Even the way time seems to pass becomes warped. By anchoring us to Ray's perspective, the film creates a false sense of intimacy. We want to believe him, we need to, because if we don't, the entire reality of the story collapses. In the film's final act, we saw the truth. Ray's wife and daughter didn't vanish into some sinister organ harvesting conspiracy. They died. The accident at the construction site was far worse than he remembered. His fractured mind couldn't handle trauma, so it constructed an alternative reality, one where he still had the chance to save them. When he believes he's rescuing them from the hospital clutches, he's actually stealing a dying patient and dragging two corpses he dug up from the hospital morgue. It's chilling, not just because of what he's done, but because of how convincing the lie was, not just to him, but to us. Fractured doesn't just use an unreliable narrator for a twist ending. It embeds the concept into every layer of its storytelling. Thematically, it explores trauma, guilt, and the brain's terrifying ability to protect itself at all costs. Ray's mind isn't lying to be malicious. It's lying to survive. Cinematically, the film reinforces this distortion with dreamlike editing, muted color palettes, and constantly shifting spatial geography. The hospital becomes a maze, time loses meaning, and we start to feel the same paranoia and disorientation that Ray does. That's what makes the unreliable narrator so effective here. It's not just a plot device, it's a psychological weapon. There's an implicit contract between story and its audience. We trust that what we're seeing is true, at least within the logic of the film's world. Fractured breaks that contract, not with a cheap twist, but with a deep, unsettling realization we were never watching reality. We were watching grief, denial, madness. This is where the unreliable narrator becomes more than just a gimmick. It becomes a mirror. Because we, the viewers, are complicit. We wanted Ray to be right. We chose to believe him. And that's what makes the film so haunting. It doesn't just deceive its characters, it deceives us. In the end, Fractured is less about what happened and more about how we perceive what happened. By immersing us in Ray's perspective, the film turns the unreliable narrator into a shared experience. We don't just observe his delusion, we live inside it. And when that illusion finally shatters, we're left questioning everything we thought we knew. So the next time you find yourself trusting a narrator, remember, stories lie, minds break, and sometimes what we want to believe is the most dangerous fiction of all. If you enjoyed this breakdown of Fractured, give the video a like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more deep dives into film, storytelling, and psychology.